Well, good morning, everyone. And Jonathan, thank you for the wonderful. And there she is, Diane. Welcome. Good morning.
Good evening. Good morning. Good evening from Kenya.
Yes, good morning, or actually afternoon or late evening, right? It's night over there. All right, let's get started. So, well, last time I talked to you, ladies, actually last time I saw you was at RSA, and it seems like the whole world has changed since then. It's very interesting how one event like what we're dealing with right now can change how we communicate, how we interact with each other, be social. You know, it's just incredible. So it all comes down to people, right? And the topic we're going to be talking about is actually the people side of cybersecurity. We're going to be covering why a diverse mindset matters. We're going to talk a little bit about how to get into cybersecurity. We're going to be talking about what kind of personality traits you need to be, not only to get into cybersecurity, but to be successful and be there for the long haul. So a lot of conversations around people, right? So I'm excited to introduce all of you. Maybe we can start with that. Tell a little bit about your background, you know, who you are and what your role is in cybersecurity, and then how you got there. Maybe share even what your day looked like from day to day, what your job looks like, and so yeah, and we'll go from there. So perhaps let's do Noureen. Do you want to start and giving us be the kick-out person for this conversation?
Sure, thank you, Carmen. Hi, my name is Noureen George. I'm a cybersecurity consultant engineer at Cisco Systems. My day-to-day work is doing threat intelligence, helping customers be proactive to mitigate against cyber attacks. I launched into cybersecurity out of curiosity, right? I got a job and there was a team that was doing information security, and I had to inquire from them, what is it that they do every day? And upon my curiosity, I managed to get an opportunity to study a cybersecurity program at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and that opened me the launch into cybersecurity. My role currently right now in the community is giving back by mentoring others, helping them to navigate through the cybersecurity journey, because it is a journey. That's in a nutshell about me. I'll let the others introduce themselves.
Very good. Thank you, Noureen. Sharee, you want to go next?
Sure. My name is Sharee English, and I'm currently the Chief Security Officer of a woman-owned cyber company, which I think is pretty cool. I didn't get into cyber right away. I got into, I taught high school math for 3 weeks, and that was the hardest job I never wanted to have. And so I quit and went back to school and became a programmer for about the last 20 years. And then about 10 years ago, transitioned into cyber security through a case I did with the FBI, which was fascinating. I became an ethical hacker, and from there it was just an adventure every single day. So my day-to-day life is a lot of risk assessments, a lot of trying to keep businesses secure, and if not as secure as possible, then resilient, so that businesses don't go under if they do get breached. That's a big part of what we do.
Very nice. Thanks, Sharee. Naomi.
Hi, my name is Naomi Rosario. I am about 9 months into my new career of cybersecurity. And right before then, I actually was doing something quite different. I was a hairstylist for about 9 years. So that I had the privilege of owning my own salon business and growing a clientele and successful business. But I wanted to help the world in a bigger way. And that is when I started delving into different career paths. I came across cybersecurity because that was also what my husband was doing and is doing. And I got introduced to Carmen, became part of her 100 Days, 100 Women program. And I have been introduced to some incredible mentors that have helped me along the way. So my main goal being part of the summit is to tell you that there's no reason why you can't do this as well. If a hairstylist can become a cybersecurity analyst, you know, anything is possible. I'm here to inspire hope in anyone who's interested in the career. And currently my day-to-day activities include cybersecurity analyst work. So I work with our users to increase training and awareness, primarily with email security. I also work with threat intelligence and provide threat briefings to our company. We work in a construction company, so there's a lot to be aware of. And I'm currently at the tail end of studying for my Security Plus and taking that certification very soon. So I'm very thankful to be here.
Thank you, Naomi. I'm super proud of you. I mean, it's amazing what you've done in the last 9 months. So happy to see your progress and successes. Diana, how about you?
Yeah, thank you, Carmen. So my name is Diana Waithanji. I'm a cybersecurity consultant working here in Kenya. I also work with an NGO. Most of my experience has been in the development world. So how I got into cybersecurity is that when I was coming close to finishing my university degree, my background is in software engineering. I became really interested in cybersecurity because of all the movies I used to watch and also the urge to investigate a lot of crimes. I wanted to be a lawyer when I was in high school until I changed to software engineering. Yeah, and how I got into it is that I started doing courses on Cybrary and other like Udemy, like other online courses that are free of charge because I wanted to know whether this is the path I want to take. And then I went to LinkedIn and connected with people who are in the field and just asking them. I mostly connected with people who are here in Kenya, just asking them like, how is this field like? Can I hack it? And one person, his name is Samuel, he told me that to join cybersecurity communities. When I joined cybersecurity communities here in Kenya, the synergy that is there, the urge to learn more and more, the meetups that are usually more technical than talk. That's how I've been up into cybersecurity consultancy. And I'm also part of Carmen's 100 Women in 100 Days. I met Carmen and Noureen on the Facebook page for the Women in Cybersecurity. Yeah, that is how social media brings people together. I feel like I've met them in real life. I'm also part of that program. Privileged to be among the 2 Africans that are in that program and learning a lot from it. Can't wait to finish it and also like bring it to Kenya. I also run like an initiative for supporting high school girls to get into engineering and tech courses because there's like a whole gender gap, and in high school that's when you determine what career you want to take. So it's just like building the base for them. It's known as Waithanji. Thank you.
That's amazing, Diane, and I'm also proud of you. I mean, it's amazing. So Naomi and Diana are both students in our 100 Women 100 Days Cybersecurity Career Accelerator. Amazing, you're rising stars. I'm so proud of you. You're hanging in there. You're doing amazing things. So yeah, it's so good to hear your stories. Very much so. So with all the good stuff, right? We also have challenges. We want to talk a little bit about challenges that we have overcome, getting into cybersecurity and also being in cybersecurity and staying in cybersecurity. So Sharee, do you want to perhaps give us a couple of your experiences around that? Some of the challenges you've been faced with and overcame.
I think I have, a very traditional background, which is very different than everyone else on the panel. But because I was in tech, right out of college, I mean, I didn't like my job. I was courageous enough to quit it and go back to school. And my transition has been one where I have, I've been in tech my entire career and ultimately kind of changed paths a few times, but just based on technology. And I think that, a bigger challenge, honestly, is sort of figuring out what, in my case, the things that I really love to do. I love technology. I love hacking. I love being behind the scenes. And my career kept taking me into executive management, which made my technical skills kind of go down. and my people skills have to go up. And that really wasn't necessarily where I feel I fit the best. So I think that one of the challenges you have to kind of challenge yourself is this really where I'm best utilized in this field? And for me, behind the scenes is where I'm best utilized. I'm a very good hacker. I'm a very good penetration tester. I love those things. And so I have business partners and people that I hire that do all the people stuff, which I think is important. But I really feel like my skills are on the technical side. And so I think that's one of the things that can be very challenging is you get into a path and sometimes you feel like you have to stay on that path. But the reality is there's 150 paths in cyber and in technology, and one of them will fit you really well. So I would just say be courageous and, you know.
And it takes some time, right? I mean, it takes some time to actually get to the point that you realize this is really what I enjoy doing. So it's a discovery along the way.
And also so you don't enjoy doing, you know, like being in meetings all day long. I don't really enjoy that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's different for all of us, right? And how do you uncover what's really suits you well? Because I think when you do that, then you're really the best. It's the best of you, right? You can put into it. So.
And then you find people like Noureen are much better with people.
Yeah. They enjoy those conversations, right? So Noureen, how did you find your sweet spot in cybersecurity?
I'm totally opposite of Sharee, as she says, right? She likes behind the scenes. For me, I like interacting with the people, sharing with the people. I usually keep it simple. It's either people, process, or procedures, right? And the moment you hit the human element, it's amazing. So for me, into cybersecurity, when I start launching, getting my challenge was just understanding the full domains, right? Because it's a huge landscape, and just having somebody to help you understand this is the domain that you can really focus on. Because remember, cybersecurity, you're either on the defense, right, or the protective side, right, or the responder person. So I needed to figure out which part of cybersecurity domain do I really want to be. And as Sharee says, you have to take time to understand, to know yourself. What are your strengths? Where can you thrive in? I came to realize my strength, I'm like being proactive, and I like to be on the defense side. And I realized I'll need to find mentors, just like Diana said, reaching out to the network in the global community so that they can help you with. And in my transition, finding a mentor, it is an interesting, it was an interesting exposure and experience, to say the least, because everybody is skilled at their own expertise, and one shoe does not fit all. And for me, finding the right mentor was a little challenge, but once I learned the tricks of finding the correct mentor, that's when I realized there's a skill gap in this, and I like helping and mentoring others. So navigating my mentoring section of my cybersecurity launching career, that helped me to become successful as I am right now.
Yes, yes, and you are, and you have a big following. I mean, you started your group, mentors and mentees, right? Yes. Amazing, amazing. Right. That group just grows.
Yeah, I mean, it started with one. Yeah, and now we're up to 4,000. And in addition to that, I also do. Recently I launched the Global Cyber Mentoring, where we meet every Saturday from 11:15 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anybody from across the globe can join the session, and I have tons of Cisco engineers, rallying behind me right there on that call, answering any questions anybody may have. So there are no boundaries when it comes to cyber attacks. So when it comes to mentoring, I just focus just US. So that's why I launched a global mentoring platform, and anybody's welcome to join.
And it's so important these days too that you keep that connection, right? We talk about that now that we have a social distancing, and how much more we actually crave seeing each other and interacting, even for the introverts. We are desiring much more so the FaceTime and seeing each other and interacting, having conversations, and just checking with friends.
Yes.
So absolutely. Naomi, I know you're still probably in sort of an exploring stage in your career, but what are some of the things that stand out for you as you're going through this journey?
Yeah, honestly, every day I learn something new, several things new. I learn how I can be better. I learn how I can approach a situation better. I learn how to, be faster with what I'm doing. So just every day, it's kind of like, I sleep very well at night because my brain is so active. But I would say some of the things I've really noticed in transitioning into this career is there's a lot of similarities when you really break it down. The communication between people, the communication between a diverse group of people. I was used to working on, one head of hair at a time, and, we would have our consultation, we would come up with a plan, we would execute, and then there would be a service charge based on the work that was done. And so that is very similar into, the IT field. I know Sharee has a great business where she offers incredible consulting and working with businesses to improve their programs. So for me, it's been very comforting to see that, yes, I do not come from a long history of being in IT, but there are so many resources, like Noureen mentioned her group and Carmen's group. There's so many resources with people who just want to help you succeed. And what I've noticed with myself is that I have this tendency to want to be a perfectionist. And just in my own, self-love, getting to know myself as a person, I've learned that perfectionism can actually be a really huge distraction from involving your network and involving your, other resources. So I'm learning as an individual how to communicate, when I need help, when I'm, stuck at a certain point. And I really feel that is actually a sign of strength, where some people think it's a weakness to say, I need help, I don't get this. When you can have the courage to admit that you need help, you open up that door of resources, and it's just like this, flood that can come through. And then you realize that you're not alone, and there's also comfort in that.
Absolutely. And nobody knows everything, right? If we can actually be open to admit that and say, well, I don't know, can you help me with this? I may be good at this, or I know how to do this, but I have no idea where to start here. So that just opens up the door for more knowledge, more resources. Yeah, it's ask for help. Very good tip there. Diana, tell us more about some of the challenges you've had getting into cybersecurity, and also being in cybersecurity, and also being where you're at, because the state of cybersecurity in Kenya may be a little different than for example US, right?
Yeah. In terms of companies adopting to security and taking it up as a business. When you ask most cybersecurity professionals in Kenya, they'll tell you that is a challenge, like selling. How do you sell this so that companies can adopt it? And I loved the session yesterday that was led by Diego, that was speaking about how you sell your cybersecurity services, because that is one challenge that we have had to have. Personally, as an individual, when I was getting in, resources are there. You might lack that support system, or even people believing in you, people second guessing you by the virtual fact of your gender. Like, can you do this? Even up to date, like they'll approach you, I have this and this problem. But Diana, can you solve that problem? Okay, and in the first place, why were you approaching me? Yeah, and to solve this kind of bias, what I keep doing is upskilling and being good at my game, and also sharing knowledge using my social media, speaking in conferences. I'm so deliberate about, if I am attending a conference, I have to speak in it most of the time. Yeah? Yes, I've gone there to. I have to speak in it, whether it's an engineering conference, whether it's a journal, the Kenya Media Week, because this is information that has to be spread everywhere, that cybersecurity has to be a priority. Kenya adopted the 2019 Kenya Data Protection Law last year. So we feel like in the implementation stage of it, that is how far we are in it. And as like Naomi, I'm a perfectionist. I struggle a lot with doing things straight and doing things the way they're supposed to be. And sometimes, while it's a good trait, it might be destructive. I agree with her, because in human interactions, you expect because inside you're interacting with humans, not only computers, not only machines. We have to agree that. So even in human interactions, you expect something from your colleague or from your partners, and it's delivered in time. Again, you're here second guessing yourself, not even other people. Your self-esteem, your self-confidence goes down because why didn't I do that? But again, error is human, or human is to error, yeah. So those are kind of the challenges, and how I keep solving them is upskilling every time, connecting with people globally, on LinkedIn, just seeing what is happening in other countries, waking up in the morning, reading articles on cyber that are updated, yeah, and speaking in conferences, because when you research for a certain topic, you also learn more. You also get from them. Yep, thank you.
Yes, very good. And you also, how do you, I mean, what you're in your role today, are you in a place, is that your comfort, is not comfort, but is that where you want to be? Or are you actually tapping into some of the areas that maybe you are more excited about, and you're kind of, taking that path, and you're doing the research and you're studying to get there?
Well, I've been more into web security and internet security for the longest time in my cybersecurity career. Yeah, and I've started becoming interested on threat intelligence. Noureen is influencing me for whatever reason. Yes, I've been watching a lot of videos about threat intelligence. I want to divert to that are more of web and internet security. And one thing I always say is I wouldn't want to be in a point where I feel comfortable, because comfort kills a lot of talents. Keep upskilling and upskilling, keep challenging yourself. So I'm challenging myself now on threat intelligence. Our next meeting, you should ask me how far I am. Thank you.
And you do an amazing job, and you've been very outspoken. You are leading cybersecurity in Africa. I mean, I see you, you're being out of your comfort zone sometimes, but, doing a great job. And part of, like you said, upskilling is to be out of the comfort zone, right? And so we all, how do you sharpen your skills? How do you get better at something? It's not going to be when you're in your comfort zone. It's going to be getting out of that, trying things, learning new things, right? Even if you're not sure if you're going to be great at it, but you're adding to your knowledge and skills. So yeah, very good point. So yeah, we talk a little bit about diverse mindset, and we kind of want to get a little further or a little deeper into that. So let's take Sharee. Why do you think it is so important? Because we already said it is important, but why is it important that we have a different mindsets, that we have a diversity in thinking in cybersecurity? What's your take on that?
Well, I think that with any field, the diversity is a good thing. I think that women think very differently than men in a lot of ways in general. And the way in which I can just tell you in my marriage and my raising my children, we all think so differently. And having those perspectives is a really good thing. There are times when the way in which I approach something would be different. And a lot of times I'm in a room with, mostly men or mostly, honestly, Caucasian or Asian women. And so there is a lack of that perspective from just a different way of thinking. I think that the best collaborations I've ever worked on have been collaborations where we had a very diverse group, a group that had different backgrounds, different exposures, different experiences. Actually, I did a hackathon recently, and it was one of the most fun things I've ever done. And I think one of the things I did, we got pretty far, I'm not gonna lie, but I picked my team based on their skill sets and the diversity that they brought to the team. Things that I wasn't good at, I made sure that I found someone that was good at. And things that I felt like I might be a strong leader in, I wanted to find somebody that might be even stronger so that I could take a less leadership role. And I think all of those things are really important. I think just having, not just a single or dual perspective, but having a perspective of, 20, 30 different, I think one of the things I love about going to England is that it's just the biggest melting pot on earth. It's one of I have to spell my last name.
English.
Mine either.
I love that diversity. I think it really does benefit everyone involved.
Yeah, very good point. Noureen, I know you and I talked about RSA, about your story with a diverse mindset and diversity in general. That was pretty interesting, and I love that story. I don't know if you want to share that with the rest of us, but it was pretty incredible.
That was for me and you, Carmen, but I have a take on diversity, right? I think when it comes to diversity, sometimes we get tied to the gender aspect, right? Is it the male versus the female? But diversity can be looked in different perspectives, right? Is it diversity in skill set, diversity in our gender, diversity on the cyber career you're trying to take, right? Because remember, we're all in cybersecurity because we are trying to defend against the cyber attacks. So we always have to think like the attacker, right? The attacker themselves, the cyber attackers, they don't generalize on one gender or one specific skill set. They have a broad perspective. Today they are doing a phishing scam. Tomorrow they're going to be doing a ransomware. Next time they're going to be doing, they think on a broad landscape perspective-wise. So even as a cybersecurity experts, we always have to think in that perspective, right? Well, is it knowledge we need to increase, right? Is it because it's education, experience, and exposure. You have to have those three nailed down when you're looking into diversity so that you can be able to stand far against these cyber attacks and be able to increase the diversity in this landscape of cybersecurity. If it's the women we're trying to promote, by all means, let's go ahead and promote. However, let's not just generalize just women by themselves, because when the attacker comes to do a cyber attack, for example, they don't go through a database and just scrape up, okay, here are the men, I'll put them aside and I'm going to attack the female. They attack everybody. And we have to have that mindset, right? Of diversity all across. It's a come one, come all, but it's not one shoe that fits all, because we all have different thinking capabilities and reasoning. So it's the diversity that makes us beautiful, makes us intellectual, and makes us a very strong community in the cybersecurity industry.
Very true. And we have to embrace our different thinking too.
Yes.
I know a lot of times, I'm thinking back, and a lot of women, as they get into technology, I think they want to mimic what everybody else is doing, and that's really not, including cybersecurity, that's not the way to go. I mean, it's okay to think the way you do. You have a different way to go about things, right? That's what we need, that kind of thinking outside the box, thinking a different way than maybe somebody next to you does, right? Because that's what makes us stronger and better.
Right.
So absolutely. Naomi, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think that the second you start putting labels on anything, you limit the ability for either that person or that industry. Right. And, kind of taking that deeper, ever since I heard about IT and cybersecurity, it was always kind of publicized as, oh, it's a man's world, or it's a boys' club, or, oh, you have to be really, really technical. And all of those perspectives kind of detoured my my choice, and it kind of made it take a little bit longer for me to get into the career. And so, now that I'm working in cybersecurity, I'm really learning that, my coworker who is so strong at, everything networking and DNS, like maybe he struggles with communication. And for me, communication, I mean, we're all improving constantly, but communication is important to me because as a team, if everyone knows what page we're on, then we're in a good, standing. But the second someone is lost or someone doesn't understand the severity of a situation, our strength to, combat that issue is decreased. And so I feel like the more, the more backgrounds we have, the more experiences we have from each person that's part of the team, it really builds our kind of ammunition vault, if that makes sense. To be able to pull into that bag of tricks and say, oh, I've had this experience before and this is what we did. And then, everyone kind of just bounces off each other and solves the problem.
And we complement each other, right? That's the best thing. Building a great cybersecurity team is exactly that. You've got skills, individual strengths in each person, bring it all together, you have a great team. So it's super important that we recognize each other's abilities, each other's, just how we, each other's thinking, being different, and that's what makes us great.
Yeah.
So Diana, your point on that.
Yeah, I the rest of the panelists that putting a label on something might hinder your capability. And I always say push yourself. Well, you feel that you're like sometimes I see some of the colleagues I work with around in cybersecurity. Some of them I'll approach them when it comes to business issues and ask them, how can we hack this? How can we hack this deal? And some it will be on technical issues, malware analysis, bug bounty. So anytime I'm approaching them, I go with a thought of I want to learn. I don't want to approach you next time. Yeah, there's nothing wrong about approaching you next time, but I want to learn at least one skill about this, so that even when I have to approach you next time, I'm approaching you again from a point of information, not from a newbie angle. So diversity is all that like you just work in a team, have that synergy, and always consider the personality types that exist, the 16 personality types, it's very important even for you as a team to take those personality types, because communication holds an organization. If an organization, there are no channels, there are no defined channels of communication, then there'll be a lot of issues that will arise even as you work on your technical work, on your consultancy work. So yeah, that's my say about diversity. I can see Michael Felix saying that women make the best social engineers. I think that is debatable. I don't agree with him, but yeah, he has said that. Michael Felix is also from Kenya. He has insisted that in a lot of conferences, and it's always debatable. I don't know what you think about that. Because I believe, anyone can get any skill at any point, not putting labels on different people. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely, Diana. And, a lot of times some of the, the companies are not ready for that. We may be ready and we're joining the team, and they're not ready and not open to that, right? So that can be pretty challenging. So maybe we can talk a little bit about because you don't know, a lot of times you don't know ahead of time what the company's culture is like. Are they going to be embracing diversity? Are they going to be okay? Are they going to be open to accept your different thinking, coming from a different perspective? So what are some of the survival tips from you that you can give anyone who is looking from outside in, trying to get into cybersecurity, or somebody who is new and is trying to survive in cybersecurity? So let's go with Noureen.
Thank you, Carmen. When you're looking from outside in, I would recommend do your research, do your own homework, right? Find out about maybe if it's a company that you're looking to apply to, read about them. So when you apply for a job there and they even ask you outside your resume, ask you, what do you think our company does? You can speak up on those points. I've seen so many people who have been turned down just because their resume speaks good, they have all the certifications, but they can even articulate what that company that's about to hire them does, right? So do your homework.
Yes.
And once you get hired in the company, take time to learn. learn their culture, tap somebody on the shoulder. And that's why mentoring comes into place. Find a mentor within how they operate, how they do their business. And that way you'll be able to have a broader perspective of where you can fit in. But most importantly, remember, in cybersecurity, we're always trying to solve a problem, right? Or protect a problem. So try to find where you fit in to bring in value. Always showcase yourself, be your best brand. There's a reason why you'd walk into a store, buy a specific box of cereal and leave all the rest from the aisle, right? Because that specific cereal has been boxed and packaged so nicely. So even you as an individual, you're your own self-package, self-identity. Don't just come and fit in, right? Bring your difference. They hired you because you stand out amongst many other candidates out there. Don't let that vanquish from you. Process yourself, package yourself properly, and bring value to the table. Yes, the company is going to invest in you, but they're also looking unto you to provide value to them. So showcase yourself, bring your strength, and identify also your weaknesses. Because remember, we always a work in progress, right? Don't shy from them. Ask for feedback, right? How am I doing at this? How could I better improve myself? And ask people who can give you honest feedback. You don't want to hear yes, 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 yes all the time. I like people who challenge me all the time when they say, Noureen, I don't think that is right. I'm like, I appreciate that. Explain to me why you think that is not right. So we always learning about ourselves, appreciate feedback, provide feedback, and be able to stand out and be the best and provide value to the company as well.
Absolutely. And as a manager, right? If you have a team, be articulate about what are some of the things they can improve, right?
Yes.
And I always I didn't want to have all, yes, here are all the fives, you're doing great over here, because there's nowhere for me to go then to grow or to be better, right? So even from the management perspective, that's important to keep in mind. Absolutely. So Sharee, what do you think? It's something that will keep you or make you successful and keep you successful and keep you going in cybersecurity?
Again, I think personalities are so different. I'm trying to keep the sun out of my face because it's a very sunny day today. So I just adjusting my screen. For me, anytime I interviewed for a job, I would ask the interviewee if they could describe the corporate culture in one word, what would it be? Mm-hmm. And I think that it's a really good opportunity for you to understand, like for me, creative, inventive, leading edge, there's a lot of different words that would work, but there are also like, if they had to go, wow, like, like they can't really describe their corporate culture. Chances are I would fit in and be like, wow, the same thing. I do think that when you're job searching, you do have the opportunity to do a lot of research on the company, see if they have programs. Like I've been exposed to so many programs. Adobe has amazing, amazing women in tech, diversity in tech programs that I think that's amazing. And I think that if you go into a company that doesn't have that, are they open to growing that internally? All those kinds of things are important. I think it is when you're in such a heavily dominated industry, whatever it is, whether it's nursing or tech or anything that's dominated by one particular person, and in this case, gender, I think it's important for you to figure out how you fit into that in a way. I'm not as communicative as Noureen and as Naomi. They're both very social. I mean, to be a hairdresser, you have to be extremely social.
Yes.
I'm not that person. So for me, the culture of me not having to use as many words as other people might need, or for me to have a Noureen or a Naomi between me and the executives might be a good way to go. So I think it's really important that you understand yourself well enough and the things that you bring to the table and how that's going to fit in. But I also think it's important for a company to be able to tell you what their culture is.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. And one of the things that we talked about last week too is that us women are more shy. We don't always know how to ask for things. And I know, Noureen, you kind of touched it a little bit about how we package ourselves and talk about what, research what we want and then kind of package and then ask for it. But it can be tricky, especially because of the way one of the things that Naomi was talking about, being a perfectionist, right? It is something in women, we always want the perfect thing before we approach or try something. We are not as, we don't take as big risks as perhaps men would take, right? So how do you overcome that, right? Because we need to speak up. And Noureen, you and I actually talked about that when we had the Jane Franklin's challenge, right? It was super hard to talk about ourselves and what we're good at and what we've done. We much rather talk about other people, what other people have done.
Yeah, right.
But when it comes to work, you cannot be shy about it. You have to speak up. You have to talk about the things you know how to do, things you're good at. So how would you, what are some of the tips we can give women out there to really to overcome that and be it's okay to be uncomfortable to do that, right? Because you have to find a way to ask for what you want, or you'll never get it. And you always say, nobody's supporting me. I'm nobody's listening, hearing me. I'm not getting what I want. And a lot of times it's self-inflicted. So how do we, what are some of the tips we can give women? Naomi, do you have, because you're sort of fresh too, and you're fresh in the cybersecurity, and you have to think that way a lot, right? So what would you say?
Yeah, there's definitely times in the day where I just have to go for a walk and I have to talk to myself and woosah myself, because it can get discouraging when you feel, maybe you're the smallest person in the room. Maybe you feel that, you worked really hard on something, but you missed a very big part of that. So I think, my response to that is just shoulders back, chin up. We always have something to learn. Right. It's so easy working in IT to just get so, consumed by your computer that you're missing everything else that's going on around you, or maybe you're so consumed by a certain project. And so I think, just really working on your mental health and your self-awareness, know the times or the triggers that maybe you feel, that you're less than, and then find a way on your own time to treat that and to combat that. When you feel that maybe you struggle with being thorough, practice that after work. I used to think, once I'm off work, I'm done. I can just kind of be a couch bum and do whatever. And I'm really learning that the traits of successful people, no matter what career they work in, are driven by a continuous self-awareness, a continuous improvement, and also, being aware of your surroundings, like all the ladies have said. I think being a good listener is also another thing I would add to that, because when you can listen to a task that's being asked of you, or maybe a frustration that's being expressed to you, you're able to almost like reverse engineer the situation. And then you can clearly see, okay, how do I resolve this? How do I problem solve this? So yeah, I would just say be patient with yourself, be patient with others, and know that we're all part of the bigger picture.
Thank you, Naomi. Very true. Diana, you have done an amazing job putting yourself out there and speaking up, and so you may have some good tips how you overcame it. Maybe you're just naturally comfortable with this. Most of us aren't, but how do you deal with that from day to day, and being out there and ask for things you want and just talk about things that are important? How do you go about that?
So yeah, actually, your question has made me reflect 3 scenarios that have happened recently. One is the Jane Franklin challenge that you also nominated me for, where we were supposed to speak about our achievements. I remember taking that first video, taking the video while I was taking a run, and then take a second one and a third one. I ended up doing the first one. Why? Because the first one is me. The second one, second scenario. Yeah, the second scenario was during my birthday. I turned 24 this January. And the kind of messages I would get from people, like, you've done this, and I'm thinking, well, is this me? Or are you talking about other people on their WhatsApp status, on their Facebook status and everything? And the third scenario was a friend of mine asked for my bio. He wanted to nominate me for a certain award, and I sent him like bullet points, 4 bullet points, very short. I want 300 words about you. So I sat down on the laptop and made it to 360 words, and I didn't even cover everything. And just reading that made me reflect how much I have achieved and how much I don't credit myself. So what I do is that I even note down, like I took a notebook and noted down all things that I think are achievements, so that in case I want to reassure myself, I want to go back. I don't want to go to social media and see the comments people gave me. I want to take this notebook and just like read here and say, okay, this is done. And I encourage every woman out there, let's not wait for these challenges. Let's not wait for people to assure us. It's good to have someone assuring you, because that again gives you a certain prediction. But write down. They are giving you that challenge. Every professional that is here, regardless of the gender, you write down all your achievements, whether small or big. You're the one who can measure them. You are the one. Sometimes we see like the things are small, but they are really huge. And also going back to the workplace, and always have someone that can vouch for you, whether it's a mentor. Sometimes during the first days of your work, you won't get a mentor immediately because you don't know everyone. You might have connected with them out there, maybe, but they'll always be that one person that outstands for you. Let them know your abilities. Let them know your capabilities. Let them be the person that, in case you go wrong, they'll text you. They'll text you in the evening and tell you, don't beat up yourself so much. This happens in this organization. In the first 100 days in any job, traditionally here in Kenya is that during the first 100 days, that is like 90 days, the first 3 months you're usually on probation. Have goals set for those 3 months. What you need to achieve, what does it linger to your job description, and what ideas you can bring as you continue to master the company. And the third thing is always use the metrics of urgent and important. What is more urgent and what is important is like in the book of the 7 Habits of the Highly Effective People. I didn't put that right, but yeah, like always consider what is more urgent, what is more important, and work with the most urgent and most important, because sometimes you'll have important things, but they are not urgent. And that again goes back to the list angle of me and Naomi, that you want to do everything, but you're not considering what's really important and what's urgent at this point, and that might bring even danger in terms of your employment. Yeah,
absolutely. And being spend some time to do self-reflection, right? Because I think we're so busy sometimes. We're just looking forward and we're working things off or that's there in front of us, but we don't think back and we don't look at all the accomplishments or even think highly of those. Right. So I think it's important too that we surround us with people that are supportive and they want to uplift us. They remind us of things. And I think we are definitely, I'm so excited because in the last couple of years, I felt like our tribe has grown. I mean, we see each other, a lot of us see each other at different events and speak at different conferences, and we do things together. And it's just, we're growing closer and closer and stronger and very supportive of each other. So it's great to see. And I think that is very important part of us being successful individually and as a society, really. So very happy to see that. I don't know how much time we have left. I wanted to do one last thing, and I think it's important because all of us are very passionate about not only cybersecurity, but bringing more women into cyber, because there's so many great opportunities in cybersecurity, well-paid jobs, exciting jobs. If you like to be constantly learning, if you like researching, if you like to be challenged, this is the job for you. And there are multiple ways to get into cybersecurity, but what are some of the things that you would recommend? What helped you, and what are some of the ways that we could help others even consider job in cybersecurity? So let's go with Diana.
Okay, so the ways that you could help people get jobs in cybersecurity is your question?
Yes, my question was how, we have multiple paths, right? One of them being the Cybersecurity Career Accelerator for 100 Women, 100 Days that we have. That's a sort of a fast track program, but there are other ways to do that. So that maybe, if you have any other ways that you think you've seen somebody enter the cybersecurity, but also what are some of the benefits? What would you tell someone if you wanted them to join cybersecurity? Why would you tell them, look, this is why you want to, get into cybersecurity?
Yeah, so some other ways, you also are beneficiary of like the 100 Women in 100 Days Accelerator. Other ways I've seen people getting in is that you find some cybersecurity communities here in Kenya. They have like a fortnight technical meetup where you upskill, and also it's, you bring your own device, you upskill, and part of that community. You will be taught this week on malware analysis, next time on bug bounty, or any skill that you feel is urgent for you, and you can suggest to the organizer and they'll do it for you. And I've seen people get jobs through those networking, because a plus is that you can show the skill that you have. Networking is one thing, but if you don't have the skill, you cannot showcase that. Yeah, and others is still on social media. I'm big on networking on social media, because social media, I keep saying social media is addictive. You'll be on your phone on social media. I'm huge on that because I keep insisting it's addictive. So take advantage of the addiction and network with the right people and go for the right topic.
Build a community, right? Build a network, build a community, start talking to people, research. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And
yes, very, very good. Noureen, any tips there?
Yes. The three E's I always emphasize: exposure, experience, and education. Once you have those three nailed down, you are good. I'm also the president of the Women in Cybersecurity here in the state of North Carolina. And it takes a great work time also to help other people to launch into this industry, right? But I have to break it in a way that everyone can understand. Use the resources you have. One resource we all have, whether you're in cyber or not in cyber, we have time. Time management, that is very important. Once you put your time management properly, you'll be able to manage your own time and be able to find the resources and career that you want at launch. The other thing is have a vision and a goal in front of you. Most of us, like me, I was guilty. I used to write my goals and pin them somewhere back there on the wall or put them in a calendar underneath the table and leave it there. We have these electronic resources. Write your vision, put it in front of you. Have that electronic vision in front of you. When you fire up your computer, your vision is right there in front of you. Why? Because it prepares your mind and creates that mind set of, this is where I'm heading, these are my goals, and I have to achieve it. The other thing is networking, as Diana says. Reach out to as many people as you can. And for we who are already in the industry, who have already been here for many years, like me, Sharee, you, Carmen, and many others, and Diana and Naomi, go out there in conferences, speak out, help out these women, right? I'm here doing mentoring. It's not the only way to get in there, but when I share my experience, and not only just my experience in mentoring, I also share my network, right? So I cannot mentor everybody, but come meet my network and find another mentor over here who can be able to help you. So make sure you master at least your education, which is vital. I'm not saying that you have to get all the certificates to get into the industry, but by all means get some education, right? And exposure, absolutely, which is good, because if I don't know about you, I can advocate for you. I can speak for you. So network with others, right? And make sure you have that experience, meaning even if you don't have a job experience right now in cybersecurity and you want to launch into it, what I recommend for you is maybe start doing a research. Maybe there's a cyber attack, read about it and write a blog, right? So when you're interviewing for that job,
Yes.
the recruiter or the employer might ask you, where are the certificates on cybersecurity? And you say, I don't have certificate, but this is a blog I wrote about this. This is the input people gave on me. You use the resources you have. You don't have to be, it's not a cookie cutter where you have get certificates, get your education, then you get a job. There are many ways of entering cybersecurity. You have to be creative and take advantage of the mentors who are going to help you in the journey.
Absolutely. Great tips, Noureen. Sharee.
I think she's on mute. Sharee, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Because I laughed really loud, so I just muted my.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I like joking, Sharee, so that's okay.
Right. I think one of the misnomers is that you have to be extremely technical to be in cyber. And I just want to let everyone know there are project managers, there are sales engineers, there are marketing people required in this field of, you know, what we do. We struggle finding those people. So from a non-technical standpoint, I would say I think cybersecurity is fascinating. So if you want to have a career that's exciting and fascinating, whether you're technical or not, this is a phenomenal career. I think it's very rewarding because we really do fend off the bad guys and we really do defend as the good guys. So in a way, it's being a soldier. It's being a soldier for your company, for your country, in whatever capacity you're in. And those are all things that we can relate to. So don't limit yourself based on the fact. As a matter of fact, 90% of my team is not technical. You know, the people who do risk assessments are technical, but my marketing people are not, my project managers. I really need people who just love to learn. And now they can all tell you all kinds of things about cybersecurity, but they're not techies and they don't have to be. And so I would just say, you know, open yourself up. If you're a project manager and you think this could be exciting, apply. You know, read some blogs, get the nomenclature down so that you know what a risk assessment is and what penetration testing is, but you don't know how to do them. You just have to know how to document them and keep track of them and sell them and all those things that are involved in that.
Right.
Very great points, because that's not, I don't think that's apparent to a lot of people. And, you know, we're going to be sharing some of our tips, I think in the expo booth, I think Flair told us at the end of, you know, with some of the tips that we wanted to share with anybody who's interested that's, you know, currently not in cybersecurity, but they're contemplating on how to get in. So you should be able to visit our booth. Yeah, so Naomi, you're the last one. I just want to kind of hear you being still a newbie, right? And how, what helped you, and also what keeps you there, right? Because you have to keep finding motivation to keep going, because it isn't easy. It's not an easy field, that's for sure. A lot to learn.
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie. And I really enjoy, as much as I might fight it internally, I really enjoy being out of my comfort zone, because that's when we grow. That's when we, you know, become better. So I think, you know, my advice would be to just believe that you can, you know, believe that you can learn anything you want to learn. Just because it sounds, you know, scary, like maybe cybersecurity is just such an unknown concept to so many people, or maybe networking just kind of like makes the hair on the back of your neck turn up, you know. Believe that there are resources out there, there are people out there that want to see you succeed, that, you know, fail hard and fail fast, you know, if you're going to fail. And, you know, pick yourself back up and find a way to change the way that you were learning. And the next thing I would say is working in cybersecurity for me has been really nice to have the just the job security, you know, for lack of better words. When I was a hairstylist, if a customer canceled, if, you know, 3 customers canceled, that was, you know, hours of my day, you know, hundreds of money of income that was just gone. And I really struggled with that, you know, because you're working with people. And so people have, you know, life events, they have children that get sick, they have to cancel their appointments. which, you know, we all hairstylists and beauty professionals have grace for those people. But for me, I wanted a consistent schedule. I wanted to come into work, have an idea of what I was going to do for the day, and help people. And I've really been able to do that in cybersecurity.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Naomi. I think we may be closer to the end of our panel. I would like to do one quick round amongst all of us about, you know, we already covered that, yeah, we're passionate about cybersecurity. Yes, we need more skilled talent. Yes, we want more women. Yes, we understand why we need diverse mindset. And we want more women. We want to, you know, bring more women to cybersecurity because they are great assets to the field. But what I want to ask you as a last question is, what is something that, if you want to pick a person, who inspires you and keeps you going? So let's go with Sharee on this one.
So you inspire me.
Thank you.
I think, you know, finding your village, finding your tribe, whatever that is really one of the things that helps, because there are days like today was the struggle. My husband got furloughed and he's back at work. My kids are home. I'm online. Like, it's a lot to balance sometimes. And my project manager, I texted her and I said, I'm almost in tears this morning. And she said, just do the bare minimum of what you need to do. And some days you just need that tribe to tell you it's okay to be human. It's okay to step back. You know, my business partner is one of the strongest people, and she's not technical, but she really does help me find that balance every day when I'm knee deep in a risk assessment and it's due the next day and my schedule is crazy. I think it's just really important to have a voice of reason in your life that understands, you know, your job and your role and those kinds of things. Like, my husband doesn't get that. So having somebody, you know, in your tribe that can really just keep you and let you know it's okay today. It's okay today. You know, you'll get through it or whatever.
Absolutely.
So, Carmen, for getting all this together and for getting all of us together, and for the 100 Women program. Like, you really have such an inspiration.
Thank you, Sharee. Diana, quick, you know, point on that.
Yeah, for me, I'm really attracted to most straightforward people and people who always learn and people who celebrate people. Like, if I come to your profile on your social media and I see you celebrate people, I see you're always seeking to learn and you're straightforward about your things. For me, you stand out. It doesn't matter the professional, whether you're in cybersecurity or not. For me, you really stand out as an inspiration to me. And just special mentions to Noureen and Carmen, just to see how they keep celebrating other women, even celebrating each other. That's on it is a whole inspiration, and also pushing yourself. Like last year, someone told me you can sit on the Kenya Bureau of Standards, in the IT Security Committee, and in the Software and Systems Engineering Committees, on those two committees. I was like, I'm so young, will they accept me? I actually applied for it when I was picked. I'm the youngest, and like the whole thing. Yeah, so people keep me, and now for me, I transfer it through the mentorship program I run for high school students and even for young girls who are in the cybersecurity community here in Kenya. Just transferring it and giving them those spaces. Or you want a space for mentorship? Go and join Mentor and Mentee on LinkedIn and connect to Noureen. You want this? Go and join this, because I believe that whole synergy is what makes us prosper as cybersecurity professionals, and mostly as women in cybersecurity. So that's usually my inspiration. Root for each other, people. Root for each other.
Yes, wonderful. Naomi.
Yeah, to piggyback on what Diana and Sharee said is, you know, people who inspire me and keep me going are those who want to see others succeed. You know, they want to see everyone eat. They want to see everyone go home, you know, and be safe. And I'm learning, I actually have a birthday coming up in May, so I'll be 29 and I'm very excited. And what I'm learning in my life right now is just how crucial it is, the tribe that you have and the people that are in your life and that you allow to influence your life. You know, at one point, sometimes in different points of our lives, we are meant to encourage and, you know, really be there for people who are going through hard times. But then there's other points in our life where we need to soar and we need that encouragement and we need to be, you know, we need people to help kind of hold us up as we do that. And so I'm learning now, it's just really important to be careful of the company that you keep. And through that, you will find the inspiration that you need.
You said it. And Noureen.
My inspiration mostly comes from my kids because they're the future generation, right?
Yes.
And the fact to know that there's the greater community out there needs our help. Look at the current situation we're all going through right now. We're all going through the same situation together. Everybody's locked in, no matter where you are in the country or in the world, right? So the community needs us and we all need to work together. Just to understand that the community out there needs me, that motivates me and inspires me to go out, to share my knowledge, my skill set, mentor others, help others, and to make the community a better environment when it comes to cybersecurity. In addition, all you women really inspire me, right? My company inspires me because they give so much resources to me and opportunities. And everyone, even on this webinar that we're doing and these virtual events, is an inspiration and testimonial to many out there. So let's keep on empowering, inspiring, encouraging each other. Share what you can and what you don't know. Ask for help. We're here to help. And come over to cybersecurity because it's lucrative, it's rewarding. Like Naomi says, it's a job security and there's never a dull moment. Remember, the bad guys are always awake 24/7, 365. We also have to be awake 24/7, 365. So come on aboard. We'll welcome you and help you in this journey.
Great final words, Noureen. I also want to say that all of you inspire me. I love you, all of you guys. Love our tribe. Love our cybersecurity community. I love what Jonathan and Claire are doing. This is a great, great, great summit. Thank you so much for having us. I enjoyed this conversation, and let's do it again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.